Merry Christmas from the Derricks. Let's get it. Merry Christmas from the Derricks Live. I'm your host, Sean. I'm here with my beautiful wife and co-host, Emily.
Merry Christmas, guys.
How's it going, Em?
It's good.
It's good. Sorry, I had to play it out. So we have a new video intro. So if you haven't checked us out on YouTube or on Facebook, we started posting on a Facebook last week. We got a ton of engagement last week on Facebook. So for all you guys that tuned in last week and watched last week's episode on avoiding the dirty D, thank you very much for watching and welcome to this very special inaugural Christmas episode of the Derricks Live. It's our first Christmas episode, Emily.
First Christmas episode.
So we're taking a break this week from our marriage series that we've been working on. And we wanted to just give you a quick, hopefully like 20-ish minute nugget. We know you got a lot going on this week. And we thank you for giving us just a little bit of your time and tuning in and checking out what's going on over here.
And our purpose here is to help you add some value to this Christmas season. So a little bit of perspective. So
yes,
we're going to jump right in. We're not going to waste a whole bunch of time, but we wanted to talk a little bit about just the Christmas season.
Oh, there's so much stuff going on.
So much. And we're like busy, right? All the time. And so we've had several conversations that it's just kind of been a struggle. Like even feeling like Christmas, like,
oh yeah. I avoided putting up decorations this year, and you were finally like, no, we need to do something.
Yeah.
So we had to buy a new tree. We got an awesome Christmas tree. We got the twinkly tree. You can like program it and it does all the things.
All the lights, it dances, and
yes,
you can change every light and color to make it do all kinds of crazy things. So.
Pretty cool. If Twinkly, if you're listening to this, I want a sponsorship. I will sell the shit out of those things. But you know, we know you've got a lot going on, and that sometimes it just gets away from you, right?
Yeah.
And before you know it, it's here and you're losing, and it's like, oh shit, there's people coming and I got to go and things going on and food to cook and people to please.
And it's really easy to kind of lose perspective on why we do everything we do at Christmas. And especially from the parent standpoint and the spouse standpoint, like we go and we do, and we're so busy that a lot of times, like, especially around Christmas, like I feel like emotions are really tight between spouses, really short-tempered with our kids. Like, let's just get going.
Well, yeah. And look, you stay up until like 2 o'clock in the morning wrapping all the bullshit you bought because you didn't have the foresight to wrap it early. And you do that. You do it every year. You stick it in a closet and you're like, oh, we'll find some time to wrap it. Yeah, but there's no time to wrap it. There's no time. And so you find time the night of and you stay up all night and you do the thing and you wake up exhausted the next morning and do the thing. And it's awesome. We love it. But it's taxing sometimes. It's easy to forget what it's all about.
Yeah.
So, and it's all about Jesus. We're celebrating Jesus and his coming, his arrival. But I think at the root of it, like, we really enjoy getting together with family. Like that's a big part of it. And so one of the things that we wanted to just kind of touch base on is our traditions.
Yeah.
Because I think, like, I'm not a big person on tradition. I'm like,
right. Yeah.
I'm like the first person to like come after traditions with axes.
Yes.
Like, no, we're going to kill that motherfucker. I'm just not real big on tradition. And I am a big, like, why? Well, why is it a tradition? Why do we do that? Right. But I think we've developed and kind of clung to some really cool Christmas traditions that are really in their individual rights, not massive, but collectively they make Christmas really special for us.
Right. And one of the things that we've kind of learned early on is that it doesn't have to be expensive.
Yeah.
And so we know that this time of the year is hard.
Yeah, well, most of these traditions were like birthed in brokenness.
All of them were. But in that, we've learned to value the time spent.
Yeah.
And it's become this really precious thing that even our big kids have kind of looked back on, like, oh yeah, I remember that. And so as they get older and they have children of their own, we're establishing little tidbits that they can carry on for the next generation.
Yeah, so we're going to go through just some of our really like simple and awesome traditions that we just love. But if you're watching this, especially if you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, in the comments right now, just drop your favorite Christmas tradition. What do you love doing, right? And do me a favor, look, before we get too far into this, hit that like and share button, guys. The one of the ways that we grow this is by you helping us. We don't charge anything for the content that we put out. We're not doing any subscriptions or anything like that yet. And so, pay the price, like help spread the word. Every time you hit the like button, it pushes an algorithm that people see it more. And every time you hit the share button, more strangers see it. So it really helps us when you hit that like and share button. Thank you for being here to support us. So we've got some cool traditions that we love about Christmas. And so the first one really is pretty simple. We put the tree up together always.
And it's a family thing that we all we pull all the ornaments out and we kind of sort them. How do they need to go on the tree? And this year was the very first year that we had enough ballerina ornaments. Because over the years, I've danced for many years and people have bought me ballerina ornaments. And I've actually passed those down to our daughters. Mm-hmm. And so this year they actually got to sort out all of the ballerina ornaments.
Yeah, we actually put up a second tree. So
they have their own tree in their playroom that has all kinds of ballerina and artist ornaments on it. And ornaments that they've made from school or from like art class that we've done. And it's their tree. But then they also help decorate the big tree in our living room. And then Dad puts the angel on. I
always put the angel in. And the angel, I love the angel tree tradition because the angel that we use on our tree is actually one that my grandmother made. Yeah. And so she's a really special person to me. So it's a cool tradition to put the angel up there, and it's hers. It reminds me a lot of her. So decorate the tree together. We put Christmas music on, and if it's below 70 degrees, we usually light a fire. We live in Florida, so we don't get.
And pray for us because it's going to get down in the 20s.
I can't wait.
We're not prepared for that.
Can't wait.
We're excited. Like there is a small chance that we might see flurries.
Florida's going to shut down.
Yeah, basically.
So, and then the other thing we do is we always open a gift together on Christmas Eve. And this is cool. This is one that we kind of grew up with individually in our own households,
separate houses.
Right?
Like this was a tradition that we had as kids. And then as we got married, we learned that you had the same tradition. And so in our house, it was typically something that we could do together. So a lot of times we got books or a board game or like an arts and crafts project that we would actually do on Christmas Eve. And then as our big kids came into the house, it kind of evolved, and everybody got pajamas and something to do. Yeah. And that just kind of stuck.
Yeah. So we usually do a family gift and then an individual gift.
Right.
And the individual gift is usually some type of pajamas or new drawers or whatever,
It's almost always pajamas. Because there was one year that we didn't do it, and the big kids were upset. Like,
they were so mad.
Where are the pajamas?
Yeah. The one year, remember the year we did footy pajamas for all the teenagers? That was awesome. So we love doing the pajamas.
And then something that is kind of cool that we've really enjoyed with our little kids. We did this with our big kids, but it wasn't quite as impactful.
Kind of lost on teenagers a little bit.
Well, because they grew up with a lot of it themselves. But with our little kids, this is the first time that they've seen a lot of these things. So we've actually started watching like old Christmas movies that we grew up with. Yep. So we watched the Santa Claus with
Tim Allen.
Yes. Yep.
Classic. Well, it sounds so weird to say classic because
it's the 90s.
It's the 90s, but
it's not like Miracle on 34th Street.
That's the best Christmas movie ever is Santa Claus with Tim Allen. I don't care what anybody says. That is the Christmas movie.
So, but we've watched the Santa Claus. We've watched The Grinch Who Stole Christmas, and we watched like the original animated Dr. Seuss version, and then the one with.
I think we've watched all the versions.
We've watched all of the versions. And so I think there's 3 that we've watched, and we've watched all of them.
Oh, and I think the girls even watched Charlie Brown Christmas the other day.
Yes, and Brianna, our 7-year-old, is obsessed all of a sudden with Snoopy, which is really cool. And she's like memorized parts of the Christmas special, which is really sweet. And then in our house, we love reading aloud. And so we spend a lot of time reading books of all shapes and sizes. But starting December 1st with our curriculum for school, we actually switched all of our books to Christmas stories. And so we've read some biblical Christmas stories. We've read just some fun, what did dinosaurs do for Christmas? Like some books that we found at the library. Yeah. So again, like this does not have to be expensive. You don't have to go out and buy a million books to get through.
Yeah.
The library is an amazing resource. They've got audio books, they've got videos, they've got books with arts and craft projects at the end that we've really enjoyed. So the T-Rex, I think what is it called? How does the T-Rex celebrate Christmas? And it's this big goofy dinosaur with a red Christmas hat on, and our kids just love that one. But we've read every day. We've read some book, and we've read a couple of them twice.
Yeah,
so How the Grinch Stole Christmas is definitely the top of that list.
And it's just making time. Yeah. Sometimes it's middle of the afternoon. Sometimes it's in the evening before we go to bed. But it's really just like, hey, somebody grab a Christmas book. Let's do this thing, and just sitting down. One of us. We're all usually in the same room, but it's usually we're taking turns with the kids all cuddled around you reading a book. It's really special.
Yeah. So he actually had kind of a odd afternoon. So he worked later in the day. So he was actually home this morning, and he sat on the couch and read books with the little girls this morning. And then before bed, I actually finished out the day with another Christmas book this evening.
So one of my favorite things to do is go look at Christmas lights.
Yep.
And we used to do this when I was a kid. I mean, did you guys do this when you were kids?
Yes, of course.
We load everybody in the minivan, and one of two things. You can go to like a big light display. We've got a few near us that are like big in Christmas villages and all that stuff. And we go do that. Or we sometimes go and just ride around neighborhoods and do community light displays where we have a couple families in our area that do big displays like huge, at their houses.
Like walkthrough displays.
So we've been doing that, and we're going to go up after Christmas this year. I think we're going to start a new tradition this year. We have a big campground up in near the Swanee River that does Lights of Swanee. So we're going to go up and spend a couple of days up there with the kids after Christmas and rent a cabin and take the golf cart and just kind of do the light display and do some getting the golf cart dirty for a couple of days. They've got a bunch of trails and stuff. So I'm excited. I hope that sticks. We're going to see how we like it.
Yeah. I have high hopes.
Yeah. But we did the light display last year. We just drove up and drove through. If you live in Florida, you've never done that. It's amazing.
Yeah. Worth every minute that you wait in line. So much so that our daughter, who was 4 at the time, it definitely formed like a core memory. And as soon as we saw Christmas lights for the first time, she's like, are we going to go back and do that drive-through light thing? Yeah. So that was a really cool because it was like unprompted. She wasn't really like, it wasn't something that we were talking about.
She remembered, and she
remembered it, and she's like, I would really like to go do that. So,
and along with that, we've really made a tradition of going to St. Augustine and doing the lights in St. Augustine. And we usually do it one of two ways. They have a tram that you can get on and kind of ride around for, I think it's like $5 or $10 a person, and see the lights. But for $100, you can get a private carriage, and you can do a horse-drawn carriage for everybody with just your family. And so we did that this year. It was really special. Loaded all the girls in and did the carriage thing. And it's about a 30-minute carriage ride.
Yeah.
And, I mean, for $100, you can't really beat that.
I mean, it was so sweet, and watching them their eyes light up as we rode around all of the lights in the little city. Mm-hmm. So again, if you're in Florida or even close, like driving, that's a really good weekend trip.
Yeah. And I mean, you can walk it. It's not a huge, you just walk the city and see the lights as you walk the city, but you don't have to spend money. You can go down and walk around for free.
Absolutely.
They've got a big square down there with all the oaks and canopies lit up.
And a lot of times on the weekends, there's live music or a band playing, or they've got music just playing like on the speakers. And there's always like small vendors that have coffee and hot chocolate. And we did Cinnabon this year, and we got Cinnabuns for all of the girls. Kids, and that was really fun.
And so wherever you're at, there's probably something similar.
Right.
You know, every state has some type of major city in their area that's got some type of big light display. So maybe make that a tradition. It's something cool that the kids remember and they look forward to every year. So, and then you usually do a lot of baking.
Yeah.
With the kid, not bacon, baking.
Baking. I do a lot of making.
Yeah.
So this year was really special because it was the first year I sewed. So I enjoy like all kinds of craft projects. And we were on a mission to make a quilt this year for, I guess, my niece and her sister or whatever. And I found just a really easy rag quilt pattern. And I pulled the sewing machine out and I set it up on the dining room table. And each of the girls actually took a turn at the sewing machine doing the strips on the quilt. And that was it was really sweet.
Yeah.
But then we also do like canning. So we made pepper jelly, and our 5-year-old was up early and I was doing it like before the sun got up because it's messy and it's sticky and it's like anyways. But our 5-year-old was up and she basically went through the entire process and helped me can 12 jars of pepper jelly that I give away as gifts. And
it was really cool.
It was really sweet. And then like baking just for us, when it's cold outside, we make a lot of muffins. When we make banana protein muffins. Yeah,
you and the 2-year-old were up this morning baking. It was quite the entertainment piece in the house because she pretty much made muffins by herself this morning.
Because we've done it a couple of times where I've kind of just helped her, but she knew all of the steps and she mashed the bananas by herself and poured in the flour mixture and the nuts. And
Gangster. Get out of the way, Mom. I got it.
She was crazy. And like she prompted it when we got up. She's like, Mommy, we're making cupcakes. Okay, let's go do it. And so it's little things like that we just get to spend time in with our littles and be purposeful about spending whatever time, like we're still doing, right? We're still in the process of doing the things that we need to do, but it's including them in that process that was just really special this last couple of weeks.
I think it's so easy to get lost in the busyness of Christmas and the holiday and everything that comes with it. And we lose focus on what's really important, you know? I know that like we were talking about our memories as kids and what we remember from our childhood about Christmas. And you told this really cool story that didn't really have anything to do with the amount of money your parents spent or how overboard they went. So
so when I don't even remember how old I was. I was probably like middle school, early high school maybe. And we were tight. Our family was struggling, and it was just hard. And it was Christmas Eve, and we still didn't have a Christmas tree. And my parents loaded all of us up in the station wagon, and there was 4 of us plus our parents, so there's 6 of us. And we went to Home Depot, and at that point in the day, it was late at night. It was like 8:00. They'd already thrown all of the Christmas trees into the dumpster because it was Christmas Eve, and they're not selling any more Christmas trees. So we went Christmas shopping for a Christmas tree in the dumpster. And like, I was thinking back, like, I don't have a lot of memories of Christmas. I don't have a lot of memories of gifts or unwrapping stuff, but that was such a sweet moment. And like, it went from not being Christmas at all to instantly feeling like this magical moment that we were all together, that we had a Christmas tree. And like, it was, and in some ways it was an answered prayer because we really didn't have the money spend $100 on a Christmas tree. Instead of find this beautiful Christmas tree in the garbage that we didn't have to pay for. Like it was awesome. And it really just reminded us like this season can be hard and it feels like you're not winning and you feel like you're not doing as much as, Mr. and Miss Smith down the street.
As the Joneses, right?
Right. So like, it's really hard sometimes to feel like you're competing and that you're good enough and that your kids have enough. But let me tell you that in those moments, you just being present is the best gift of all. There is something so sweet and so precious. And so all of these traditions that we've established really aren't about money. It's not about how much we spend financially. It's about how much time we spend with our family and with our kids. And those are the core memories that we're really establishing down deep into our kids, into our whole family, that make this season really worth all of the things that are going to go on for the next generation.
That's good stuff, Emily. It's, I think it's so easy for us to just want to give our kids everything we can, right? And that's okay with balance and with, some decisive decision making can get out of hand sometimes, right? But I think at the core of it, like, yes, you're right. We've just got to remember that, like, we've got to just be there for them and just enjoy the moment. Turn your phones off this weekend and, put aside all the work shit and all the other stuff and just love on your kids. And if you don't have kids to love on your spouse. Love on your spouse.
And your family.
Yeah.
Your parents. Like, it's not lost on them. I promise you. Like, take the time to recognize the people in your family, and even in your family of choice. Yeah. Like, this is a hard season for a lot of people. Take the time to recognize the people around you and be that connection.
And if you're listening to this and you've got a big family to rely on and you've got people in your life that love you and are pulling in close to you right now, be thinking about that person in your life that doesn't have anybody to spend Christmas with. Give them a call and invite them to your dinner.
Yeah.
Pull some people in this year and make Christmas about the moment and not about the task.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to leave you guys with that tonight. And we wish you a Merry Christmas.
We love you guys.
And we hope that you have an amazing time with your family and your kids this weekend. And thank you for listening. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. And just remember that Jesus fucking loves you.
Fuck your excuses.
Deuces.